Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing another UKMT question using the mind map method. Today's question is, in square RSTU is a quarter circle arc with a centre S is drawn from T to R. A point P on this arc is 1 unit from TU and 8 units from RU. What is the length of the side of square RSTU? So to make it easier for ourselves, we can draw our square again. So we have our square, and then we have our quarter of a circle, and then we have our points U, T, S, R, and then we have a point P, and then we have we have a point 1 here, another 8 here. So basically we want to find out the length of, say, UT, because it's a square, so any side will be the same. We want to find out the length of UT by finding out the length of this, which we can name x minus 8 if UT equals x. So if UT is x, then this yellow line would be x minus 8. Similarly, if UR is x, then this yellow line here, this red line here would be x minus 1. And then we can actually draw a triangle from P to S, and we know that the length of this line will be x because this is a quarter of a circle here, and we know that S is the centre of the circle, and we know that the lengths from the centre of the circle to the perimeter of the circle will be the same. So if we know that S to T is x, then we know that P to S will be x too. So we know that. So we have our x minus 1. We have our x here. We have our x here. We have our x minus 8 here, and we have our x minus 1 here. So this line is the same to this line. So if we draw this triangle again, so we have our triangle here, and we know it's a perpendicular right angle triangle, and then we have our x minus 1 here, we have our x here, and we have our x minus 8 here. So if we turn it around, we know this would be we can use Pythagoras Theorem to find out what each side could be. So Pythagoras Theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared being the hypotenuse. So our base is x minus 8 squared plus x minus 1 squared equals x squared. We know that, and then we can just simplify this and expand the equation. So we have x squared plus 64, because minus 8 times minus 8 is plus 64, minus 16x. Yeah. And then plus, and then we have our same ones, we have our x squared plus 1, and then minus 2x, which equals x squared. We have that. Now we can simplify this equation further and add all our like terms. So now we have 2x squared plus 65 minus 18 x equals x squared. And then we can make this into further down, and then we can put x squared onto this side and do 2x squared minus x squared, which is just x squared, and then minus 18x plus 65 equals 0. We've got that down, and x squared minus 18x plus 65 is 0, and then we can use the AC method to find out what x is. So we find two numbers that add to get minus 18 and times to get 65. So the factors of 65 are 15 and 5 and 13. So to get them to add to minus 18, you would do both of them to be minus, so it'd be minus 5 and minus 13. So minus 5, minus 13. And so then you would substitute these numbers and substitute them in from, so it'd just be x squared minus 13x minus 5x plus 65 equals 0. Now we can factorize each side. So in this one, we can take x out of it, because that's the only thing we can do, and then we have x minus 13 inside our brackets. And now we want this second equation to also have x minus 13 inside. So to do that, we would have to take minus 5 out of it, and then you have x, and then minus 5 times minus 13 is plus 65, so that would work. So now we have that equals 0. So then we can just add our multipliers together, so we can have x minus 5 times x minus 13 equals 0. Now we have to figure out what the value of x is. So doing that, so we know that anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So that means either x minus 5 is 0, either x minus 13 equals 0. So if x minus 5 is equals to 0, then x equals 5. And if x minus 13 equals to 0, then x equals 13. So they're both whole integers, so we still can't figure it out. However, we can go back to our question and see that our ut was basically x, and that x minus 8 is the length of the yellow line, so this length here. And if x is 5, then 5 minus 8 is a negative number, and that doesn't work. So it has to be x has to equal 13 for the yellow line to be a whole number. Therefore, the value of x is 13. Thank you guys for watching my video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in next times. Thank you.